Today we're making these mini quiche Lorraines. I will insert an ingredients list towards the end of this video that will also include other filling variations. To get started, we're going to cook up some bacon over medium-high heat. I've already diced up the bacon strips, and even though they're going to shrink up in size while cooking, we're probably going to dice them up even further after they cool. While the bacon is cooking, let's get the egg mixture ready. Into a bowl, we're going to add in 3 eggs, 2/3 of a cup of heavy cream, half a teaspoon of salt, and a pinch of black pepper if you want it. Give everything a good mix and then set the bowl off to the side. Now we're going to finally dice up anywhere from 1 to 2 shallots. I ended up using 2. Shallots have a more delicate sweet flavor versus regular onions, which can be too intense for this recipe. With that in mind, use however much you'd like. While you weren't looking, I took the bacon off the stove to cool. In that same pan, we're going to add in a pat of butter and toss in our shallots. Since we finally diced these, they won't take that long to cook. I'm cooking mine over medium-high heat, making sure to stir it frequently so it doesn't have a chance to burn. This should only take a few minutes. I would not leave this unattended. Now that our bacon has had a chance to cool, we're going to dice this up even further. We are making mini quiches after all, gotta make sure everything is tiny. Take your bacon and add it to the shallots and give everything a quick mix. Of course, these mini quiches wouldn't be complete without some cheese, so we're going to finally grate some of this Swiss cheese. Gruyere cheese is also another great option. Both are great for melting, which is perfect. Nothing sucks more than a cheese that turns rubbery or even greasy once it's been melted. We don't want that in our quiche. We do want 1/3 of a cup of cheese though, and this looks just about right. The only thing left to prepare is the pastry. I picked up a box of pie crust sheets from the grocery store. You're gonna need 1 box for this recipe. Let your pie crust sit out on the counter while you're preparing everything else, otherwise it's not gonna unroll very easily. I was debating whether or not I wanted my quiches to have a crust only bottom or the whole tamale on the bottom and up the sides. I started with this 1.5 inch cookie cutter, going for the crust on the bottom only, but then I switched to a 2.5 inch cookie cutter because I really wanted my crust to go all the way up the sides. Whichever way you prefer is totally fine. Just make sure you have 24 cutouts. Once you have all of your crust circles, grab your mini muffin pan and spray it with some non-stick cooking spray. I took a paper towel and wiped off the excess. Take your cute little pie crust circle and smoosh it down into the pan. Don't be afraid to get in there and smush that crust around. There is going to be some overlapping. Just smush it around until you get it all just the way you want it. Let it take you on a journey back to your Play-Doh playing days. I know we all had some of those. Do this until you've filled every cavity. Then take a fork and prick the bottom of each shell. We're going to toss this in the oven at 350 degrees for 5 minutes until a skin partially forms on the surface of the pastry. We're not fully cooking this. The reason for this blind bake is so we don't have a soggy or undercooked bottom. Now that our pie crusts are done, we can start assembling. While it's still hot out of the oven, no need to wait for it to cool down. We're going to sprinkle in some of our finely grated cheese. Follow it up by adding half a teaspoon of the bacon and shallots and top it off with 1 teaspoon of the egg mixture. If this starts to look like way too much work for such a tiny piece of food, you can upgrade to a regular size muffin tin if that helps. You might have to slightly increase your bake time, tack on maybe another 5 to 10 minutes. Once all of your cavities are filled and ready to go, into the oven at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. If you're watching these while they're baking, just note that they will puff up quite a bit while they're doing their thing in the oven. This is completely normal, not to worry. They will shrink back down a bit once you pull them out. And there you have it, cute little mini quiches. They may be tiny and bite-sized, but they're packed full of flavor. Now you may have noticed I didn't actually make all 24, and that's because I wanted to quickly show you how to make them bigger. I'm using 2 8-ounce ramekins. Regular size muffin pans are slightly smaller at around 2.5 ounces. The same steps apply here. Blind bake your pie crust, only this time for 10 to 12 minutes. Add in the filling like before, cheese, bacon, and egg mixture, into the oven for 35 minutes, and there you have it. Slightly bigger, same great taste. If you're interested, I will insert an ingredients list right here. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out, and I'll see you all in the next video.